What if a goddess could predict your death before your first battle cry? A deity who flies over the battlefield not just as a witness, but as the one who decides who lives and who dies. Meet Morrigan, the phantom queen of Celtic mythology, the terrifying and fascinating goddess of war, fate and death. In the realm of ancient Irish mythology, the Morrigan stands as one of the most enigmatic and powerful deities. Her presence is both feared and revered, shrouded in darkness, mysticism, and transformative power. She is known by many names: Morrigan, Morrigan, or simply the Great Queen. But regardless of what she's called, one thing is certain: she is no ordinary goddess. Morrigan is most commonly recognized as a war goddess. But unlike Mars or Ares, who represent combat and valor, Morrigan embodies the spiritual and psychological aspects of war. She is not there to fight, she is there to forecast. She decides the outcome before swords even clash. To the Celts, war was not just a matter of strength, but of fate, and Morrigan was its keeper. She is deeply tied to the concept of fate and prophecy, often appearing to warriors before battle in the form of a crow or raven, perched ominously on a branch or circling above. In many tales, her appearance is a grim omen, not because she causes death, but because she sees it coming. She is not a bringer of doom, but a mirror of inevitable fate. Morrigan often appears as a triple goddess, composed of three distinct but interwoven aspects: Badb, Macha, and Nemain. Badb is associated with death and chaos, often taking the form of a raven and shrieking on battlefields. Macha is linked to sovereignty, kingship and the land, emphasizing the connection between ruler and realm. Nemain, whose name translates to panic or frenzy, represents the psychological terror of war. Together, they represent the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. These are not simply three women, they are three forces of existence. One of the most famous legends involving Morrigan is her interaction with the legendary hero Cú Chulainn. In this tale, Morrigan appears to him in various forms, as a beautiful maiden offering her love as an eel, a wolf, and a cow, all attempting to either test or trick him. Cuchulain repeatedly rejects or wounds her in each form, unaware of her identity. When he later realizes the goddess's true nature, it's too late. On the day of his prophesied death, Morrigan appears once more in the form of a crow perching on his shoulder after he dies, a silent witness to a fate she had long foretold. This story is symbolic on many levels. Morrigan is not just punishing a hero. She is reminding mortals that you cannot escape destiny. No amount of bravery, skill, or defiance can rewrite what has already been woven by the goddess of fate. But Morrigan is more than just a war deity. She also represents sovereignty and transformation. In many myths, she is the spirit of the land itself, granting kings their rule, demanding loyalty, and withdrawing her favor if they fail. This dual nature, protector and destroyer, makes her one of the most complex figures in Celtic lore. She grants power, but she can take it away just as swiftly. In pre-Christian Ireland, the role of women in spirituality was profound. Goddesses like Morrigan weren't subservient. They were rulers of their own realms. Morrigan's energy is not meant to be comforting. It's meant to shake you awake, to challenge, to destroy what no longer serves, and in doing so make space for rebirth. She's not the chaos, she's the clarity that comes after. Modern interpretations of Morrigan have evolved. In today's neo-pagan and spiritual circles, she's often seen as a symbol of divine feminine power, especially among those embracing shadow work or personal transformation. She embodies the dark goddess archetype, a force that empowers, liberates, and sometimes confronts uncomfortable truths. In literature, she appears in novels, graphic stories, and fantasy games like Dragon Age, often portrayed as a mysterious witch or dark queen. But at her core, Morrigan's essence remains. She is the one who stands at the threshold between life and death, order and chaos, power and collapse. Even now, ravens and crows are seen as messengers of the otherworld in many cultures, and Morrigan's legacy lives on in their wings. Her mythology reminds us that to embrace life fully, we must face death and fate without fear. If this journey through ancient myth and mystery sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe for more mythology, folklore, and spiritual storytelling from around the world. Have you heard of Morrigan before? Would you accept her prophecy or try to change your fate?